Matthew Olivier back on that.
Oh, it's good. He's been working really hard. Bowler and the doors pushed him hard. And so is our medical staff and our strength conditioning staff to make sure he's back ASAP. And he did his job as well. No, it's good to have him back, yeah.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked like he was moving pretty fast.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think last year, when you look at last year, we could argue on who improved the most, and he would be in that discussion, right? And the job that he's done, if you look at the practices, he's staying after, he's working at his craft. We know what he's really, really good at. Yeah. We all know.
Sure.
But he's, adding tools to his toolbox, and he's a good worker. He's a great teammate. We were happy we got him last year. We got to know him. Good to see him on the ice.
What do you say about your coaching style and coaching preferences about a player that fills that role? Some coaches want that. Some coaches want it in the lineup. Some guys maybe come in and out depending on matchups. Yeah. How do you view that in today's NHL?
Yeah, well, you know what? Today's NHL is still, for lack of words, because I don't know if I can explain it properly. But once the puck is dropped on the ice, you have 5 players, and 5 players, that's the foundation of the game, and there's 1 puck. And again, forgive me how I'm going to explain it, but that's the only way I can see it right now. It's a game of bullies. It's either you have the puck or I have the puck. If I don't have it, I need to get it back. If I'm too soft, I won't get it back. You'll take advantage of me. What I know is 2 years ago, we had a decent season, but the bench was challenged every game. Remember the hit on Zach Werenski in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. And we have a million, well, not a million, but we have a lot of those examples. Yep. Last year with Goody and Ollie on the bench, not once the other team came to the bench and challenged the bench. They know they're there. So it allows the Johnny Gaudreau and the Patrick Laine and the Zach Werenski to be a little bit more free playing their game, because they know, the other team knows, if we go after those guys, we're going to have some young players again, KJ and those guys. If they go after him, then there's a price to pay, right? And it never comes from the coaches. It never comes from, it's something that they do. And if they don't, they don't. So my philosophy on it is we need to be intense. We need to be aggressive. But there's never a command from the bench. I'm truly against that. It goes against my values. But if it has to happen because Ollie or Goody or anyone on the team decides to do it, then it sends a message.
Yeah.
I saw an example of that in Chicago, I believe, last year, right?
As well, yeah.
With Kachuk, right? That was Goody really kind of snapping.
Yeah.
But, that sent the message, though, right?
Well, I know it's 2023, and I think it's gonna disappear. But as of today, when I look at the rule books, it's a 5-minute penalty. Right. So once it's going to be more, then we'll adjust. But for now, it's still allowed, if I may say it that way.
We knew with Tex coming back here that he was going to help you guys, in some way. It's a small sample size with the first couple games, whatever that he's played. But it seems like he's gotten off to a pretty good start here, just controlling pucks and really helping his lines.
Well, Tex, when I first got here, I did my homeworks. I'll go back in time. I did my homeworks, and Eric Dubois was my assistant coach with the Moose in the American League. And so I asked him a lot of questions about the Blue Jackets because his son, Pierre-Luc, was here. And Pierre-Luc was a very good friend, still is, I believe, of Tex. And I wanted to know about the person and the player, because we know as an opponent, you kind of know, but you don't know as much as being in the same room as the person. And his speed, he's a good man, he's a good teammate, he's on the quiet side, but he's also fun to be around once you get to know him. And I remember he said, Tex, if he's on a line, for some reason, that line is just going. And that's what I saw 2 years ago. Whoever he was playing with, he's the type of guy. And then when you have those guys, the value of those players on your team, the line, one line is not going, you take a guy like Tex, you put it on that line, and then they just take off. And that's what he did for us. I know if you remember, we had him with, at some point, not that they weren't going, but one of our best line 2 years ago was Curls, Corrali, Tex, and Robbie. And they were just, and then we moved Tex around, and then all of a sudden, the first thing you know is the line he's on is our best line. So, I mean, it's so exciting for the organization that he's back. He fits the values that we try to develop as a Blue Jacket. He's a good man, great hockey player, and he's a great teammate, so really excited.
This is probably a product of having so many skilled defensemen in camp still.
Yeah.
Even going back to Traverse City, I would say, with the prospects, you're seeing more like power play looks with two defensemen out there than maybe we've seen before.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an area though there's so many skilled defensemen coming into the league now, where that could be we could shift back in that direction.
Yeah, like in the old times, you had 2D and 3 forwards.
Still 1-3-1, but like you have two.
You know what you want? Two things. Like, I don't think there's a perfect system, whether it's 5-on-5 power play PK. If the five guys connect, then it becomes, we're looking for excellence. And once the five guys connect, 5-on-5 power play or PK is 4, when they connect, that system, regardless of if you think it's good or not right, that system becomes a good system. So we're looking, whether it's 2D, we've seen a game, was it in Finland against Colorado, they had 3D at some point.
Wow.
And so, but if you're skilled players, our power play players, regardless of their position, if they fit what you're trying to do, why not? Yeah. So we're gonna test drive this one. Like we're gonna go 4 forwards, we're gonna go 3 forwards. We have a lot of forwards up front that can play the power play, but at the end of the day is the chemistry. Sometimes you have 5 guys on the power play, and most of the time, it's not so much the systems, but it's one guy that doesn't fit the mindset of that power play, or he's not on the same level of readings, intelligence, hockey sense, offensive hockey sense. Not that he's not good, but he has a different set of skills, or he doesn't see the game the same way, and he breaks up the power play. Like it's not as effective as it. You look at him, he's a great skilled player, he's got a lot of tools, but he doesn't fit with the other 4. So it's finding that one guy that doesn't work with the other 4. Now we have a lot of options, so we're going to test drive a different kind of setups and go and try to find out the best recipe for the power plays.